What's up, Internet? Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2. We have had probably the most tumultuous playthrough of any game I've ever played. We have some broken dice. We're really like cutting it close to being pursued by our former captor, and now everything that we've worked for has come to a complete halt because this person Junie has now stolen our core and is telling us that she could use it for better things. But we're at this major decision. Either we rip off Karsten and we follow Junie's blind faith, even though she lied to us, or we can take it right away and let her not do this. It's tough because here's my thing. Like, she had been lying to us the whole time. So I'm inclined to not believe a liar, but, you know, it's tough. How could she possibly get us feed lines? Then we're ripping off two people and be on the run from multiple people. It's a hard place to be. It puts us in a really bad position if we decide to not, because then it's stuff we have to work towards, and I don't think we have time before Lane gets to Hexport. Yeah, it's tough, but a job's a job. She lied to us. It's a tough decision, but I have to say no deal. Junie sighs. Then what? I'm offering to help you. We all win. Please. Oh, I see. We have to physically take it from her. Okay, take the data. Thank you. Junie looks genuinely moved. This is a gift to all of us, Sleeper. I hope you will see it like that. Junie turns to the data core, quickly gathering one of the loose connections. She takes out her deck and plugs it in, then crosses her legs and places it across them, floating tethered beside the core. Her fingers tapping at the keyboard, teasing out the core's data and whatever Solheim secrets it might contain. As she does, Seraphin enters. He braces himself in the entryway. What's she doing? Junie doesn't seem to notice. I'll explain later. He eyes you suspiciously. I hope you know what you're doing, Sleeper. He nods towards the core. That's our ticket out of Hexport. Junie will help us. If you say so. You both turn to watch Junie stripping the core of its secrets. A little while later, once the core has been emptied out and its defense mechanism has scorched its seams black, you watch the metallic sphere spinning gently in the room and wonder if you've just made a terrible mistake. Contract failed. Okay, well, we gotta get the fuck out of here now, I think. Because we can't collect scrap. We don't really have the abilities to do that. And we should probably leave. As you arrive back into Hexport, Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. We're going to have to act fast if you want to get those feed lines. You and Seraphin exchange glances. You are both still getting used to this new Junie. Only one of us fried the core and stole all its data. He shoots you a look, and for some reason, we let you. We can make this work. What I'm wondering, Sleeper, is why we have to. Seraphin looks infuriated. I don't think Karsten is going to take kindly to the idea that we brought someone pretending to work for him on the job and let her have this prize. He points at Junie like she's an object. Do you even know what she's up to? Junie looks between the two of you. Hexport hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two have trusted me, even though I didn't deserve it. I'm not used to that. I want to repay it. Not to mention that Karsten is probably ripping you off. Even if you get enough cryo, what's to say he won't raise the price? Trust me, he's no good. I was trying to deal with Karsten to get those derelict coordinates from the moment I arrived here, and he ran me in circles. He shakes her head. Seraphin is watching her closely. Even if I do take you at your word, which, given everything, seems a little tough, how do we even do this? He raises an eyebrow. You were telling me we just drift in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it. You don't trust me. She pauses. But what if I have a vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here. I don't want to feel like I'm hanging around waiting for Karsten to figure out my involvement in all this. I need safe passage. You need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? I don't like it, he pauses, but it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? We all get something. Exactly, Junie smiles. Let me prepare. I'll head to Factory Row, scope the place out, meet me there, and we could work out a plan. She glances down between the two of you. Trust me, we could find a way. Let's keep it simple, clean. Simple is good. Let's get to it. Okay then, Junie smiles. Trust me, this is gonna work. I'll go scope out the bay we need in Factory Row. We should split up. Less likely for Karsten to suspect us. Meet me there in a few, and we'll get finished setting up. Junie unclips from her seat, floating. I want to show you I can be trusted, that we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. And with that, she slips away down the passage towards the airlock and hexport beyond. You look at Seraphin. I'm saying nothing, Sleeper. He unclips from his seat, too. Either this is the kind of mess you have to go through to get out to the other side, or it's the kind you never escape. Either way, we're in it now. He leaves the cockpit. You stare at the chaotic lights of hexport and wonder if anything in the Starward belt ever runs smoothly. Ooh, Sleeper, we're out of time. He checks the door to the bunks, and you hear a faint banging in the corridor beyond. He turns back and meets your eye. They're here. What do you mean? Lane. Seraphin hisses out the name, or at least his hunters. They've locked the ship into the station. We can't release the docking bridge. Our credentials are being refused. We're trapped. A sudden banging echoes through the ship. Seraphin looks away towards the source of the sound. I don't know if they know we're in here, but they certainly want to get in. He shakes his head. I reckon we have minutes before they get out the cutting torch. What do we do? The feed lines are a bust. They aren't going to happen now. Our best chance is to burn out of here as fast as we can and hope our drift takes us to a station where we run out of fuel. He sighs. At least we might live a few more cycles before we starve. Problem is, we need to release the lock Hexport has on us. Otherwise, we aren't going anywhere. Seraphin looks down, and I need to pilot the ship. So what I'm saying is, I have to release the lock. Exactly. I'm sorry, Sleeper. He gives you a dark look. There are some big manual release levers inside the docking bridge itself, but to get them, you're going to have to go out through the airlock. He swallows hard. And once you do that, you'll need to get back in as the docking bridge releases. He grimaces. If you mess it up, you're likely to be sent spinning back into the black. I could do it. You nod. There's nothing else to be said. Time is up, and this is what it's come down to. I'll be at the controls, waiting. Seraphin gives you a nervous look. The moment you're back in the airlock, I'll burn hard. He clasps you with both shoulders and looks you in the eye. Then, without saying anything, he releases you and glides out of the room. You drift down to the airlock as quickly and as quietly as you can, slipping into a suit for protection. At least you think as you secure the seals, you don't need to breathe. The banging subsides, and you hope that the hunters have left, even though you know this is only the quiet before the storm. You take a moment, waiting inside the airlock as it cycles. The second the exterior door begins to open, you go. As you dash out of the airlock, the scene in front of you appears as if in slow motion. You see two figures a little way down from the docking bridge wearing dark spacesuits, a canister being carried between them. Meanwhile, floating between you and them is a heavy-duty cutting torch knocked spinning by the opening airlock door. You see the release levers in yellow hazard stripe just beyond the hunters. You know you are lucky, and you know you only have a moment to make your move. Oh my god. I guess I have to do this one, right? Negative. You shift your position, trying to aim for one lever before kicking off hard and stretching out, making yourself as small a target as possible. But the hunters see you coming, and one pushes you off into your path, grappling with you as you do. You spin with them, both of you lashing out at each other. As you do, you feel yourself drifting further and further from the levers down the bridge toward Hexport itself. A scream blocks out all sound, and you feel an urgent pull tugging you away from the ship. The tunnel bends sickeningly and then snaps. You realize in that moment that Seraphin has started the burn and is attempting to break the bridge by force alone. You and the hunters spin in a hail of debris, scraps of metal and chunks of bridge dashing against your suit. You see the hunters retreating to the station side airlock and realize this is your chance. A chunk of tunnel wraps around you, and you plant your feet on it before kicking off towards the rig. The debris slices at you, cutting your suit away, then your thick skin. Your vision flashes with warning sigils, and you can feel a distant throbbing pain. You're carried onward by a hail of projectiles that zip into your body from the direction of the station, their impact shutting off your whole sections of your frame. The final, faint things you feel before you lose consciousness are the impact of your body against the interior wall of the airlock, the hiss of the cycling system, and the heavy weight of the ship in full burn. Oh my god, did we do it? What the? Seraphine's quiet question wakes you from your haze as the rig cuts across the belt. You try to move and feel a wave of flickering pain pass through your body. You flinch and steady your nerves. You find yourself strapped into a seat in the cockpit. Seraphine doesn't seem to have noticed you are awake. You open your mouth to speak, but no words come out. There's a crackle of noise that echoes through the ship's comms. Seraphine is glancing nervously at his console. Something has him spooked. Sleeper. The voice, as distorted as it is, cuts through you. Lane. I know you're there. A hissing pause. You're slipping away, a squawk of noise, but we can't have that. You don't understand why Seraphine isn't reacting to the sound of Lane's voice. Then you realize he can't hear it. The voice is in your head. I take this personally, Sleeper. A sharp intake of breath. After all my investment, all my care expended upon you, this is how you repay me? I see a little something glinting out there. Lane continues. Could that be you? You don't move. You don't breathe. All you hear is Lane's voice. Something shifts in you, a sudden impetus, a will to move that is not your own. You unclip yourself from your restraint, drifting forward towards Seraphine. Seraphine looks over his shoulder and sees you. You're up. He looks surprised. Take it slow, all right? There's a transmission coming out of Hexport, some side of a vac order. He turns back to his console. Let me check this. You keep moving forward. Something isn't right. You don't feel right. A numbness grows in your body, your fingers flexing without your input. You reach out towards Seraphine. No, not you. Something reaches out to Seraphine through you. You see, he turns again to see you reaching for him, grasping at his neck. A tension flickers in his eyes, fear, a hissing silence, then a rumbling blast. All at once the rig screams, system seizing in electromagnetic paralysis. All at once the rig shifts, carried on some shockwave of light, pain, then darkness. We're still going? My God. Voices echo warmly through your mind. You can't quite make out what is being said, and any attempt to focus causes a growing flare of pain, so you let them fill the air, unidentifiable and soft. You're floating, and so you cannot yet feel your body or its weight. The feeling is pleasant, soothing, and yet the moment you realize this, it begins to fade. Pain shoots through your system, a reminder of the terrible damage you've suffered. It is bright, white-hot for a moment, and then it is gone. Something spasms in your fingers, and you flick it away. A sensation crosses the sole of your foot, and then you kick your leg. A weight settles in your chest. You are awake. You open your eyes to light playing across a surface patterned with stained cushioning. You are alone. The voice is replaced by the hum of air cycling, the distant clank of maintenance systems. You're alone, and this is not your ship. You jerk upwards against the straps that hold you loosely to the berth, suddenly confronted with the last things you remember, an overwhelming numbness, and below it, an insipid animating force creeping through your mind. You pull at the straps and free yourself, floating up into the small habitation room, cushioned and worn, your mind racing. Where is this? You glance around, taking in the small room with its knickknacks tucked behind webbing, its stained and worn storage units, its faded padding. This is someone's home. Cold light fills the room. As you float over to the dark square of the window, you see stars, the bright pinpricks of drive trails, and skeletal docking bridges. This is a station. A sudden hiss draws your attention to the door, which slides open with a puff of equalizing pressure. Ooh. The entering figure jumps up as they see you're awake. You're up. They hesitate in the doorway. Who are you? They laugh nervously. Right, we didn't meet. They glance back out of the doorway as if looking for help. I'm Bliss. They shrug, not sure what to say. Your friend, Seraphine, is out. Sorry, he brought you here. Here? Right. They nod slowly. This is my room. They glance around. Not much, I know. We're in my repair bay on the far spindle, if you know where that is. In the belt? Yeah. They smile sympathetically. In the belt. They look around at the room again. Come on, let's go somewhere a little more comfortable. They hold out a hand. You're safe, don't worry. You follow them out into the corridor, gliding behind them. They move with the ease of someone who's either born in zero-G or has spent most of their life in it. They guide you to an enclosed balcony where heavy, scratched, thick acrylic windows look out onto a chaotic-looking wet dock. At the center of the dock is the rig, scratched and worn, but still your ship. It's a reassuring sight. So, what happened? Your ship. Bliss pauses. You were lucky I heard your distress signal. You sense that they are holding something back. I guess that expensive long-range array I was tricked into buying finally paid off. They laughed at themselves, at least for someone. You were out cold when I got there. You have been for all the cycles since. Your friend wasn't in great shape either, but he bounced back fast. I made a habit of doing that. Seraphin's voice makes you spin around. He's different model. Good to see you up. He can't suppress his smile. Are you okay? He smiles. Don't start fussing over me, Sleeper. I'm good. His eyes fall to Seraphin's bandaged abdomen. He notices and pulls his jacket over the wound. You certainly looks better than when you came in. You should have seen. Bliss abruptly stops after Seraphin glares in their direction. Here. Seraphin pulls a few chits out of his pocket. Catch. He slings them over to Bliss. That's all I could get for now. Seraphin sighs. Please, I'm fine. Bliss looks at you unapologetically. I know what it looks like, but I'm sorry. I can't work for free. Keeping this place going is bad enough. I get it. Seraphin nods. We're just thankful you towed us in. We aren't freeloaders. Bliss looks between the two of you. I'll let you two catch up. They turn to you. I'm glad you're awake. We were worried. They pat you on the shoulder and glide back down the corridor. With Bliss gone, silence descends on you and Seraphin, both of you unsure what to say. What happened? What do you remember? Pain. Seraphin looks out at the rig. He takes a breath, steeling himself for what he has to say. Hexport is... He clears his throat. It's gone. He flinches. What do you mean, gone? It's gone. Seraphin catches your eye. Dropped off the map. No signals, apart from the ones sent from fleeting ships. He frowns. I don't know what happened. No one does. Your mind skips, unable to focus on the information you've just been told. You think of the constant activity of the bends, the rumble of Factory Row, Carson, gone. Just taking a little breath. Hold on. It's been a lot of reading. Oh my goodness. All right. Gone. By the time Bliss reached us, we had drifted out of range. They couldn't have seen it go up, but I saw Sleeper. Something exploded, white hot. He rubs his arm, suppressing a shiver. A moment later, the shockwave was on us. The rig was crippled. Engine kept firing, but guidance went offline, sending us arcing out across the belt. He drops a hand inside his jacket, pressing against the bandage on his side. I managed to get her under control, but not before we started spinning. My restraints came loose, and you weren't even strapped in, so we both got scrambled. He smiles a weak smile, felt like being trapped in an auto wash. He turns back toward you. I'm impressed you made it, to be honest. A flesh and blood human would have been smashed to pieces. He goes silent, the image a little too raw for him to continue. Your guess is as good as mine. He squints. Would Lane do something like that? Doesn't make any sense. Utsubo is a gang. They run dark side. They don't go around blowing up stations. All anyone is seeing is debris and radiation. I picked up a lot of ship transponders before the rig went offline. Maybe some people got out. He stops, unable to add anything more. You both float in silence for a moment. So we lost our tail? Seems like it. He looks away. At least that shockwave would have burned our trail out of the belt for now. Another water. Ugh. We already owe Bliss for the work they did on the rig, and it isn't finished yet. A few more cycles, I've been told. Bliss won't hold us hostage, but I don't like to skip out without paying, even if we could get the rig started up. He rubs his necklace between his fingers. Bad karma. Beyond that, we need work, fuel, supplies, and we need to make sure that you're okay. He counts off the issues on his fingers. After that, he shrugs. I haven't heard of anyone coming after us, and if they did, they'd have to come through Hexport, or what's left of it. He looks away. The far spindle is way out of Lane's territory anyway. They call this bit of the belt the Wash, and the stations here run differently to Darkside, so for now, we have some freedom. Seraphin sighs. Freedom to go broke, starve, and to get into even more trouble, that is. In all honesty, I was hoping you might have some ideas. He pats you on the shoulder. We should explore this place. The far spindle? Plenty to see. This is a free station. No one faction holds control, so it's quite the circus. Just watch your step out there. Seraphin pauses and stares down. Look, Sleeper. He rubs his side. I'm not sure I can work right now. I just got kicked out of a salvage yard for passing out on the job. He looks away. Even with the pain meds I've been able to scare up. I can fly, that's for sure. He stares obstinately at the rig. But you're gonna need some crew if you want to do any serious work. He chews his lip. I'm sorry. You need to be careful. Seraphin nods. I'm trying. He turns away. I'm gonna go take a rest on the rig. I'm wiped. You look out at the rig as he leaves, the warmth and softness of your waking moments now feeling like a distant memory. This what you wanted? Freedom? A chance to work for yourself, not Lane? Well, here it is, with all the problems and complications you can imagine. And at what cost? Could Lane have wiped you out at Hexport just to try to end you? You shiver at the thought. But if not Lane, then who? Theories cloud your mind. Could it have been Conway? A drone or mind-drifting Starward? Senate stat, perhaps, with some plan to weaken the Belt? Or a Belt faction attempting to flip the board by intent or mistake? The Belt had considered itself safe from the war brewing in the inner system, but now, Hexport's loss will be felt all across the Starward Belt. But what does that mean for you? Your needs are much more immediate, apparent. This must come first. You run your hands along your body, feeling the marks and holes left by the hunter's weapons. And you know that in the moment that you had been irreparably... You know in that moment you have been irreparably damaged by the encounter. You realize that these scars are reminders. You will not be caught like that again. You swear it. You take a breath. Time to make a plan. You have gained some glitch. More glitch. Glitch is a penalty you gain from repairing dice. Glitch is from repairing dice and from Lane's attempts to hack your system. Your current level of glitch is represented by the glitch clock to the right of your dice. You can have a maximum of 6. Each level of glitch you gain will increase your chance of rolling a glitch dice at the start of your cycle. Each time you roll a glitch dice, you clear 1 level of glitch. Oh, okay. A glitch dice has an 80% chance of a negative outcome when used and a 20% of a positive. Each time you roll a glitch dice, you clear 1 level of glitch. Okay. But not this permanent one that we have. Hello. New drive. Oh, this is massive. Look at this. How are we doing on this episode? I feel like that was a ton of reading. Already at the 20-minute mark, it looks like. Somewhere in that range. Okay, so... I would really love to fix my dice. That would be freaking great if that was a possibility. But let's just explore a little bit. Let's see what's here. The rig is mostly patched up, but Bliss wants a few more cycles to run final tweaks and diagnostics, so we have 4 days. How about this guy? Underhang residents couldn't afford to rent further up, so they came here to build their own units. They're always in need of repair work. Engineer or Intuit. The Underhang grew organically, unit after unit built onto each other by refugees and new residents. This makes it a tough place to explore. Many residents of the Far Spindle live in the ramshackle Underhang. It's not an easy place to learn to navigate. Okay. How about here? Spindle Core. From wide transit tunnels to the labyrinthine corridors, all the passages of the Spindle seem to pass through the core. Spacer crews are a constant presence in the core. If you want tips on crew and contracts, you might as well ask them. The core of the Spindle is where crews and freelancers mix, travelers rest and resupply, and business gets done. Okay, and the docks. Looking out around the Pinnacle docks without getting in someone's way is hard. It takes fortitude to explore among the chaos. With so much freight flying around, it seems safer to cozy up with a terminal and study the manifest to learn this place. Okay, so there's a couple things we could do here. This drive. We're exploring. That's all we got to do. So we have a 6 right now, so we should use that on something that we're maybe like okay at. Cool. New location discovered. You ask around about crew and contracts, and following a few promising leads, you're starting to make progress. And then maybe we use our glitch dice on our interface one. Let's see what happens. +1, -1 energy. That's fine. We'll take that. As you glide through the Pinnacle docks, you hear shouting echoing down a corridor. You tentatively change direction, your eyes fixed ahead as the passage widens out into a large bay. Others rush past you, heading towards the commotion. Your eyes are drawn by the bay's vast viewing window, which is currently being spattered with glittering shards of ice. In front of it, a dock worker is shouting to anyone who will listen. Spacers, workers at the Far Spindle, we need your urgent assistance. The water carrier Springtide has suffered heavy damage in its transit from Wellspring. He takes a breath. All able hands, we need you to help secure the cargo. Without this water, Far Spindle will struggle to support you. He looks desperately at the crowd. Please, any who are able to help, please make yourself known. Behind him, a corona of ice ejects from one of the tanks, drawing a pale halo around the ship. A handful of experienced-looking spacers push through the crowd towards the front, and dock workers start to direct them to nearby bridges. You watch the scene unfold, hesitant in the face of making someone else's problem your own. New drive. Secure the spring tide. The water hauler that has arrived at the far spindle needs help to secure its payload. Interesting. Okay, so we have no more dice. We have a bar, though. Okay, how about this guy? We could buy kelp cakes. Order a rack. Rack is a seaweed-based liquor with a powerful saline taste. Guy's Geyer has a reputation for serving it as a neat and strong. I see. So if we keep at it, we might increase our time here. Might get someone through the bar. Crazy. I wish we could fix our dice. That would be great. Here's my thing. Like, I wish that if it gives us the ability to be able to break our dice, we should be able to fix them right away. Like that, I don't know how to do that yet, and that's slightly frustrating. We have 2 points available, huh? All of these are 4-level upgrades, and because we fucked the drive for Junie, which we have to actually talk about that. So we got fucked by Junie because we didn't complete the drive. So if we had completed the drive, we might have gotten upgrade points. But then because we ran out of time somehow, we didn't even get to finish that drive entirely. So that screwed us too. So we have a lot of things actively screwing us. It's like we're the lowest of classes trying to make this work. We're scraping by right now, which is not great. Yeah, I need to fix my dice. That's the big thing. I don't know if this run of this game will be possible if I don't fix this dice, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna call it on this episode. We're a little bit down and out. I will, if this comes down to it, like if we get to the point where this playthrough becomes impossible for some reason, I will reset and then we'll choose a different class and we'll try the game again with some different decisions. But I am still enjoying it. It's just almost too stressful. Like, I just don't think that the game is actually possible as much anymore. I never got this bad. Like, things never went this south on the first game. So I'm just a little worried about what that means for us. But we have to figure it out in the next one. We'll see you on the next one. Please give this video a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.